how's it going? Tweak Bigfoot back with another video, and once again I'm just switching all the games up, playing something new. Today we're playing some Halo 5, and I really want to talk about Halo Infinite in this video, but before I get into that, a couple of announcements. One, congratulations Dakota on your big win. You did it, buddy. You deserve this. Second of all, I want to talk about this gameplay really quick. So I ripped it from the theater mode in Halo because for some reason I wasn't recording, and I decided that I actually really like this gameplay. I think I did really good in one of my Slayer placement games, so I decided that I was gonna put it out there and play it. So there might be like weird, quick like transitions that don't make sense, or like quick moments where something doesn't seem to be right. It's because I ripped the theater and I was doing stuff in the background while this was just recording over my gameplay. So I like right there, I just passed a moment where I like transitioned. It's because for some reason the theater mode would switch to like different players instead of me. I'm not entirely sure why it does that. Whatever, that's the gameplay. Let's get into it. So the topic of today's video, the reason you clicked on this video, is Halo Infinite. As you guys have seen, the multiplayer is free to play. If you haven't seen that, maybe you have. But multiplayer for Halo Infinite is free to play. And I want to talk about why I think that's a big move, not only for Halo, but for Xbox and for the gaming, first-person shooter genre in a whole. So I actually don't have a script for this. I'm just going right off the cuff. But I think I got a pretty good idea of where I want to go. So right off the bat, I want to talk about why I think it's good for Halo. So Halo, we'll talk about Halo 5 for a minute. Halo 5, I think it's been a pretty good multiplayer. I've only been playing it for like 2 years, but like seriously for a few months. And it's pretty good. I like it. I'm sure that Schmixy or Hypersloth will have something else to say about it, but I honestly think it's pretty good. I really like it. I like the modes they've got. I'm sure there's things they could fix, but honestly, I think it's pretty good. So I think, right off the bat, solid multiplayer. And with Halo Infinite being, I think, the first new shooter for the Xbox Series 1X, Xbox Series 1X, I didn't go on right. The Xbox Series X, I think it's the first shooter. With it being pushed back, it might not be, I don't know for sure, but it's going to be the first shooter, I think, to come out for the Xbox. So it's going to be a big step. Arguably, it's going to be the biggest shooting release of this year. Well, it's coming out next year, so no, it'll come out after Call of Duty. It's going to be one of the biggest shooters to come out for this generation for sure. It's a new Halo on a new console. It's got a lot to hold up. So already, it's going to be heavily scrutinized for multiplayer and for campaign. As you can tell, it's been pushed back. I don't think that's going to be a huge thing, but we'll touch on that in the end of the video. For me, though, I think the multiplayer is a big deal because it's got to perform well. It's going to have to be crispy, it's got to be smooth, and it's got to be what people want. I'm talking playlists have to be good, mechanics have to be fluid, gunplay has to be good. And the only way to really get that is to do a huge beta test, which, by the way, 343 Industries, I'm interested. If there's a beta test, let me in on it, I'm in. You can find me anywhere. I'm around. So there's going to have to be a big beta test on open beta weekend, or it's going to be free. I think, as you can clearly tell from, actually, no, this video's going to come out after. So I just talked with Jared about, games coming out complete, and I think that Halo has to come out complete. If it doesn't, it's done. I think out the gate it has to be a complete multiplayer, and one of the best ways to do that is to have a big beta, but also make it free, because everyone's going to test it, everyone's going to try it, and you're going to get feedback. So if there's changes, you can make them immediately. They should come out with them, but if you're going to make changes, make them immediately. So by having it as a free multiplayer, that is big. You're going to have a lot of people trying it. People that have never played Halo before, or don't really play first-person shooters, are going to try it. Prior to a month ago, I was like, I'm not playing it. It's going to be fun, I guess. I don't think I'll play it that much. Now that it's free, I'll invest probably at least a day's worth of time into playing it. 24 hours well, at least, to get a good feel for it. Mechanics, scripts. I think it's going to be solid. So I think it's honestly a big play that it's going to be free because you're going to get a huge player base. And yeah, it's separate from the campaign, but people might like your multiplayer so much they're willing to spend on the campaign. You never know. So I think it's going to be big. Look at games like Fortnite and Apex, technically free to play. You can spend all the money you want, but they're free to play. Lots of people have played them. I played Fortnite. I'm not a huge Battle Royale fan, except for Apex, So I think it's big. I think it's going to be really big. The only issue with it is they better not load up with microtransactions. I really don't want microtransactions in a Halo game. Like, yeah, I get you're going to have rep points, you're going to have all that. Don't make me pay real money to get new maps or cosmetics. If you're going to give me free multiplayer, I'm hoping for free updates, because that's kind of crappy to give me a half-baked multiplayer. Like, sure, the gameplay can be solid, but if I have to buy all the new maps or like new guns or some kind of microtransaction crap, I'm gonna lose interest in it. So I think it's gotta be crispy, smooth, complete, and have no microtransactions or minimal at best. Kind of like they have for Halo 5. Yeah, they're loaded up for Warzone, but if you're playing multiplayer, there's not really a reason to buy them. So we'll see. That's kind of what I hope for the game. We'll see. Well, why is it big for Xbox? Let me tell you, it's big for Xbox because, yes, the console's launching, I think November, October. It's launching relatively soon, within the next 3 months of recording this video. The game is not. The game's being pushed out. So Xbox is going to be struggling, probably. I can't guarantee that. I personally believe it'll be struggling when it launches. There's not a huge bunch of launch titles coming out off the bat. Halo Infinite is supposed to be the big one. So to compensate, I think making multiplayer free is a really good thing, because that's going to give people the ability to say, like, hey, I want to play this free multiplayer, crispy, hopefully, on a crispy new console that is pretty much like a small computer. So I think having free multiplayer softens the blow of the game being pushed back and potentially a rocky launch with no or minimal launch titles. I think by it saying, hey, you know what, free multiplayer, you're kind of like, at least I personally feel that it's softening the blow. I'm like, okay, this is a kind of cool compromise. You build the game, but the multiplayer is free. So, that being said, we'll see. I do believe the Xbox is going to have a rocky launch. That's a topic for another video, at least a fully fleshed out video. I know I've touched on it with Jared before, but I do believe that, it's going to be a rocky launch, especially losing Halo. So Microsoft is going to be looking to compensate potentially again. All of this is just speculation. I have no proof for this. Microsoft is probably going to want to compensate for some sort of lack, and I think making it free multiplayer softens that blow. And finally, what does this mean for the industry? I think this is a perfect step in the right direction for the gaming industry, but specifically the first-person shooter industry. We've already seen games like Destiny go free-to-play after a bit of time. We've already seen games like Apex and Fortnite go free-to-play. I think it's only going to be a matter of time until you start getting good multiplayers for free. Say, Call of Duty. With Call of Duty, it might be different. You might get like the base multiplayer, but then you're going to have to buy those extra maps to keep up, if you want to. I do believe that this is the catalyst for starting at least, hopefully, a free-to-play-ish model where we get, campaign for free on one hand. Maybe it's loaded up with microtransactions, but Call of Duty already is, so, and I think it'll set that precedent where you pay for the campaign, which, like, I would pay for the campaign for a lot of games still. Like, I potentially will buy the Halo Infinite campaign. Don't know if I'd buy a COD campaign, but, we'll see. Depends on the COD, I guess. Depends who's making it. Shout out to Treyarch. You make way better Call of Duties. Changed my mind. But I think for the first-person shooter, it's going to be awesome. Or hopefully a catalyst to get that changed up. Or you'll potentially get, a soft, free multiplayer. Like, maybe you'll get X amount of stuff if you get the multiplayer for free, or more if you buy it. I don't know what it would look like, but I do firmly believe this will be a catalyst for other companies to say, like, hey, you know what, like, we got to make our multiplayer free, otherwise people aren't going to play it as much. I know Call of Duty is probably one of the it's for sure one of the most biggest games in the world right now, and it always has been for the last few years. But as I talked about in a previous video with Jared in our Third Floor podcast about Call of Duty, numbers are dropping. So by making it free to play, like, you're guaranteed to get people to play it. They're going to spend money on it. Like I talked about in an earlier video, Call of Duty makes $2,000 a minute. Like, it's crazy money. So there'd be no reason for them to not make it free to play. Sure, put microtransactions in it, I guess, if you need to or want to make your money back. Get some free DLC, I guess, or paid DLC, whatever you want to do. But I do believe that if Halo has this free multiplayer, again, don't know what it's going to fully look like. It might have microtransactions, or you might have to buy certain things, whatever it's going to have. I think it is really going to affect the genre as a whole, and we will begin to see how that's going to work for the industry. So, honestly, I'm really excited for this launch of the free multiplayer. It's probably like 6 or 7 months away still, but based on what we've seen from the gameplay, it looks pretty good. Looks like it could be good, and you never know. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. This video is about to come to a close. I want to thank the people that stayed all the way. Thank you for checking out my video and watching it. I really do like it. And I want to give a shout out to Jared and Dakota. I've been on this Halo grind recently, and like with this gameplay especially, I've noticed things that like I used to make mistakes on and have picked up a lot. So it's been really cool to see how I'm doing in Halo and get better from there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to the boys, Hypersloth and Schmixy. Wouldn't be doing this without you. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.